Welcome to the Prophecy Club. I just counted them up. Wednesday, I made a 2-hour video giving you 33 reasons why you should come to the Sevenfold Miracle Crusade. 30 years ago, God began giving me prophecies saying that one day He's going to use me to win thousands upon thousands of souls to His kingdom, including an audible voice, a vision, a dream, 6 prophetic words, 33 in all, and I believe that I have been directed to organize a meeting to release sevenfold miracles. We're asking those who believe in the warning given to Dimitri Duduman that America is the Mystery Babylon, willing to sow a key of David's seed, commit to a 3-day consecutive fast, and believe in the end times to come to this crusade. During this crusade, we're asking people to walk the steps of Moses by observing Passover, unleavened bread, first fruits, which is April 19 to 22. We believe that once we have fasted, sown the key of David, and opened the doors, and followed the steps of Moses, God is going to release the sevenfold miracles like no person or angel in human history has ever seen. If you want to attend, register at sevenfoldmiraclecrusades.com. There are only 500 seats available. We expect to have several thousand wanting to come. That's sevenfoldmiraclecrusades.com. Register while there are still seats available. sevenfoldmiraclecrusades.com. If you've been listening to the Prophecy Club for a while, you probably heard me quote some amazing prophecies, and you probably thought, man, I'd like to have a copy of those prophecies. I put together my selection of the most quoted speakers we've had at the Prophecy Club, and by getting this offer, you will have the most important information from 25 years, 160 guest speakers that have made 330 DVDs, in my opinion. It's called Stan's Quote Material. The first one is The Storm Judgment Revival. You've heard me say Shane Warren many times. Revelations for the Midnight Hour, Maurice Sklar. I Saw the Dollar Dead, Daniel Davis. The End of Times, Augusto Perez. Will You Survive America's Fall, Doug Metzger. Catastrophe, Meteor, Tsunami, Earthquake, Ephraim Rodriguez. Meteor, Destruction of America by me. And the most important one, Wake Up America by Dimitri Duduman, and a book called Prophecies of the Fall of America. That's 9 DVDs, 1 book, valued $280 for a gift of just $75. That's right, $280 worth of material, 9 DVDs and a book for $75. And it's called Stan's Quote Material. You get it at prophecyclub.com. Stan's Quote Material. I would even say Stan's favorite quote material. You want the best information? You get this offer. Stan's Quote Material, 9 DVDs and a book, $280 value for $75, prophecyclub.com. Now we're going to listen to one of them, The End of Times by Augusto Perez.
For the Prophecy Club, Stan Johnson.
Welcome to the Prophecy Club, where we provide information and resources with a prophetic warning message to win souls to Jesus and to call people to repentance. Our topic tonight is End of Times. The reason this is because God is speaking to America in these last days, and we're a group of people that want to hear what God is saying. Speaker's been a pastor for 7 years, ministry for some 30 years, numerous angel visits, some 44 dreams and visions, author of 4 books. An angel took him to heaven one time and told him that he was giving him a rod to lead his people through the turbulent times ahead. We want to know what God is saying in these last days. So will you help me welcome Augusto Perez. God bless you, brother.
Thank you, Stan.
Welcome to the Prophecy Club.
It's good to be with you guys. Enthusiastic crowd. And, well, my second time in Dallas, Texas. Was here back in '98, and it's changed quite a bit since I was here last time, but I'm glad to be here tonight to share some things with you. First of all, let me start by saying that I wish that many of the things I'm going to share with you tonight would not be. And I say many times that the prayer of the righteous availeth much and can change things. I believe in the power of prayer. I believe in the power of intercession. When God's people intercede and pray and touch heaven, things can happen. Chastisements can be delayed, can be changed, can be alleviated. There are some things that cannot be changed. There are some things that can. I'm going to share some things tonight which has taken many years in the process since the Lord saved me back in 1981. I believe the Lord called me to a specific ministry. We pastored for several years, and after several years, the Lord told me, it's time to move on. He asked me to lay down the church, to go to a place I didn't know where, and He had a ministry for me prepared. I didn't know that. I thought I was doing everything He had asked me to do, but that goes to show you we don't know much. Back in 92 is when the Lord spent a whole night talking to me about it and gave me this ministry. The ministry was specifically to prepare His bride for His coming, to prepare His church. He showed me the church was anemic, the church was impotent, the church was corrupted, and needed to be restored, needed to be strengthened, needed to be awakened, and prepared for the end times. The reason I titled this The End of Time is because this is going back to an experience I had a few years ago when the Lord showed me the end of times. And many of the things that I contain here have to do with the end of times. Some of these things I'm going to be sharing with you are not in order of as far as timing when they happened. I kind of placed a lot of these visions and dreams together according to theme, according to importance, according to the way I thought it would flow better, and so forth and so on. So you're going to notice that they're not in a chronological order. I will stop at times and share some things with you. I believe that the Great Tribulation, the revealing of the Lord Jesus Christ from heaven, all these things, all these events are going to be culminating in the times that we were prophesied about, the times that we were warned about. I'm not here to tell you, precious people, that it's going to be coming in another 100 years. I wish it was. But from what the Lord has shown me, these things must come to pass quickly now. I'm not here to set dates either. I'm not here to tell you when the Lord is returning. You would probably know that I would be telling you a fallacy. Nobody knows that exact day. But we do know the seasons. And the seasons we are in right now are being confirmed. Now, a lot of people may say, well, Brother Augusto, I went through this Y2K thing and nothing happened, blah, blah, blah. Well, I was alive too during Y2K. And I prayed hard as I have ever prayed. And you know what? I was not shown one single vision or dream about anything. So I knew that was not going to be much happening there. However, since the year 2000, I have been receiving a lot of very alarming dreams and visions that I still to this moment, I don't understand if it was a dream, a vision, or I was literally taken in my spirit to some of these places. But I did not choose it. I didn't ask for it. It just happened. Back in the year of 2000, I had a very interesting experience where I saw this beautiful cow. She looked so beautiful grazing on the pastures of the field. And as I was watching this beautiful cow, I began to notice how slowly this cow began to become very thin, began to lose weight slowly, until you started to see actually the bone sticking out of it. It was so skinny and bony that you could see the skeleton. As I awoken from that experience, I began to pray about it. And the Lord showed me, now remember, this was back in the year 2000. The Lord showed me that this was representative or symbolic of 7 years of plenty that were coming on the land of America. And after those 7 years of plenty, there were going to be 7 years of lack, or where the economy was going to begin to become very, very lean. Now, if you recall back from 2000 to 2007, the economy was going pretty strong. When 2008 came around, that's when it really began to turn. And of course, you remember what happened in the fall of 2008. Many companies that collapsed, and what happened to the stock market. So all these things began to take place. The Lord began to deal with me about getting out of debt, about getting my house in order for the lean times. I began to make preparations even back then, the year 2000. I believe that this is going to go through the year 2014. I don't know what 2014 will bring, but I believe that we're going to begin to see the economy diminish, the dollar begin to dwindle, the value of the dollar continue to slide until the dollar is going to become practically worthless. I'm going to share more on that in a little bit. This brings us to another topic that some of you may or may not believe or agree with, but I certainly didn't back in the year 95. This was back in 1995. I was actually here in Texas. I was in Houston, Texas, and I was ministering in a church. And one night I had a vision, and I saw this UFO outside. It was the most beautiful UFO. It was color lights, and it was lit up like a Christmas tree. And you could see it in the heavens. It was moving slowly, but it was making no sound. As I watched this sight, I went inside my house to get my family, get my wife, and to bring them out to see this thing. And when I came back out, I saw not only one UFO, I saw a whole bunch of them. And the thing that really astonished me was not the UFOs, it was being escorted by 2 military planes on either side. Now, back in 1995, I did not believe in UFOs. I didn't believe in them. Okay, so this was not a product of my active imagination or my subconscious that maybe some stuff was there. This was, I did not believe in this stuff. I didn't watch any movies about this stuff. I didn't read any stuff about this. So I knew this was a message from the Father. I was very puzzled to find out that there were 2 military planes escorting this UFO. I pondered on that for a long time. What did that mean? Why were these 2 planes, military planes, escorting the UFO? I have a friend of mine, he's in Oklahoma. He started talking to me about this. He says, Augusto, you need to understand what is going on with this UFO thing, this phenomenon. And he began to explain to me and began to bring me into this arena because I was totally ignorant of these things. I began to realize how much the UFOs are related to the end of times, how alien technology is related to the end of times, how involved our government and other governments in the world are involved with UFO technology and alien technology in this end of times. I began to understand a lot of things that I was totally ignorant of and realized that there's so much going on that we have no clue, no idea that they're going on. There are experiments taking place that we know nothing about. There's hybridization taking place we know nothing about. There are secret bases that we know nothing about. And all these things are taking place right under our noses, and we're not being told by our governments. Now, this was in 95. We are in the year 2012 now. This thing has escalated incredibly, okay? Many of these UFOs now, today, are being piloted by hybrids, not by military personnel, just military. They're being piloted by hybrids. And if you don't know what a hybrid is, I just quickly recap it and say it is basically a man-made artificial organism that is partly human and partly not human. You know, you've probably seen all these movies with robots and video games with robots, part robots, and all this kind of stuff that come out. Well, that is not really science fiction. That is real. They're really doing this kinds of stuff. And as we continue into the future, we're going to find out that this technology is going to become very important in the times that we're about to get in. And this is going to be a part of the mark of the beast. This is going to be a part of the surveillance system that is coming into being, the face recognition technology that is being right now implemented in different countries. I was talking at a church in Tennessee not long ago, a few months ago, and after I was finished, this man came up to me and told me, he says, Augusto, I need to talk to you in private. And we went outside for a few minutes, and he said, I just want to tell you what you were sharing about. I work, and he told me the place he works for. He works for a special section of the government, and he says, I can't tell you more, but he says, I know this is happening. They have this thing ready. It's about to be implemented. This face recognition technology is unbelievable. They'll be able to spot you walking down the street. They'll be able to spot you in your backyard. You walk in the mall, they'll know who you are. You walk in an airport, they will know who you are. He says, this thing is real. He says, it scared me. This guy was telling me, it scared me. So this thing is real, people. It's real. The plan is, of course, you probably know already, you've been taught, it's a new world order. It's coming. It's not coming, it's here. And we are just about to enter it, probably this year. Still, I was very confused back then, but I continue my research, okay? So there's a deep secret agenda to use the UFO card to usher us into the new world order. This takes place with the aid of the New Age Messiah. That is also a topic that it's about, he's about ready to appear anytime, who will say that the world was made by aliens, seeded the earth many times in past times with human beings, and have now returned to help usher us into a new golden age. Okay? This is going to be the lie that is going to be perpetrated, foisted upon mankind, that the Apostle Paul talked about, and even the Lord Jesus Christ, Yeshua, talked about. He says many will believe it, even the elect, if it was possible. Some of you here may think, I'll never believe that. I'm going to tell you something. Many will be almost persuaded. That is how powerful this is going to be, how mesmerizing, how tantalizing, how tempting this is going to be. And it's going to bring all kinds of things to you. It's going to bring sources of energy. It's going to bring extended lifetimes. It's going to bring improved health. It's going to bring all kinds of benefits. And the persuasion that they were the ones that created us is going to be so overpowering that you're going to have to really lay down roots and get back to God in the presence of God, not to fall for that thing. That is how strong this is. It's called a strong delusion. The Bible calls it a strong delusion, a very, very powerful delusion to persuade those that are not sold out to the Lord. Okay? Now, these things are so fantastic that it is very hard to believe. Like the saying goes, I know you probably heard it, truth sometimes is stranger than fiction. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 8 to 12, it says, "And then shall that wicked one be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming." Okay? "Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deception of unrighteousness in them that perish." Okay? Now, the thing that is going to destroy the beast is going to be the brightness of the coming of the Lord. That is going to be the brightness that's going to be destroying all these hordes of people. You know, for so many years, I racked my brain. You know, when I was taught about the Battle of Armageddon, and you know how the armies of Russia and the armies of Chinese and the armies of all the world were going to gather, are going to fight out. And I racked my brain trying to think, you know, and they were all going to be gathering to fight Jesus Christ coming, right? And I was racking my brain asking, why would they do that? Why would these people gather all the troops all over the world to fight the King of Glory? It didn't make sense, see? It still don't make sense today unless you know certain things. Because the thing is, precious people, that the plot, the agenda, the plan of the New World Order, these people, this government within the government, because the government that is in control of this nation is not the government you think. They are being told what to do, what not to do. Not just this country, but many other nations, especially in Europe, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, the United States. They're being told, and China being told what to do and what not to do, what laws to pass, what to implement, how fast to do it, how, and so forth. And I have a friend of mine that, now this was in the 80s, he said that in the government, in the 80s, 80% of the people in the government back then were all bought out. They all belonged to them. Now this was in the 80s. 80%. The people in the senators, the congressmen, and president. He said, we own them. Now, can you imagine today what that percentage must be like? No wonder it doesn't matter how people vote. No wonder it doesn't matter who is in there. We get the same results. We get the same agenda. It doesn't matter who people send to Washington, because the problem is no longer in elections. The problem is the governments are not run by who you think they're being run. And so there's an agenda, people, a special hidden agenda to usher in this new world system, which is going to be a hybrid system. It's not going to be all human, people. It's going to be hybrids. And I can't get into it too deep because it would take me into areas I'm not ready to go into tonight. But I'm just going to share with you that this UFO agenda is very intricately connected to this whole thing. And this brings us to another experience I had back in 08, in April 27, 08. I was outside at night and it was very dark, a very dark night. And as I looked into the heavens, I felt that something was not right. So I had what it seemed to be a very powerful flashlight in my hand. I don't know what it was, but I knew it was powerful. And with that flashlight, I could point at the heavens and I could see these things. So I took this flashlight, which I had in my hand, and I started pointing into heaven. And as I did, I began to see UFOs appear everywhere. Everywhere I pointed, I could see UFOs. And they were different kinds, different shapes, different colors, and they were everywhere. But to the naked eye, you couldn't see it. You couldn't see with the naked eye. You needed this discerning flashlight. I call it the flashlight of the Spirit. You need the flashlight of the Holy Spirit to see things that are going on in the spirit realm that cannot be discerned in the natural. So we're going to need the supernatural discernment in these end times, people. Otherwise, you are not going to be able to see things, discern things. I was also in Ohio not long ago, a couple years ago, and I was riding with my friend, and he had this car that has these yellow lights. And that night, it was a heavy fog, and he turns those lights on, and when he turned those fog lights on, it cut right through the fog. And I turned to him and said, "Man, that is so cool. Those lights can cut right through the fog." He says, "Yeah, they're called fog lights." Duh. But you know, I'm always thinking in the spirit. So sometimes I ask stupid questions. And I said, yeah, of course. We need different lights to cut through the fog, to cut through that stuff that we don't see, to cut through all this mess. We need the spiritual discernment. We need to turn those fog lights on tonight. And so, you know, that you can get those fog lights. You cannot get them at Walmart or any of these other places. You need to get them from somebody that you cannot buy it with dollars either. You have to buy it with the currency of heaven, which is faith. Faith is the currency of heaven. That's the only way you can get them. So anyways, as I pointed the flashlight, I started seeing dozens of different kinds of UFOs, and suddenly they started moving quickly when they realized that I had seen them. I had spotted them, because they know when you can see them. Spirits know when you can see them. Angels know when you can see them. And they realized that I could see them, and then they began to enter what seemed like a huge silver orb. It was very, very large. It was like the size of the moon. Very, very, very big. And once all of these UFOs went inside, the orb quickly took off and disappeared into the night. Okay, now, the interpretation about that is, as we get closer to the coming of the day of the Lord, and I'm going to be talking about the day of the Lord tonight, we are going to begin to see more and more UFOs in the heavens. How many of you ever here seen a UFO? Let me see your hands. Okay, you've got a few hands. Okay, you've got to learn how to spot them. If you don't know how to spot them, you will not see them. I have learned how to spot them. It's very rare the night I go outside my house, because I live in a place where there are not a lot of city lights. I go outside, most of the nights I can spot them. I have taught my son how to spot them. Sometimes they pretend to be planes or stars. And if you don't realize it, if you don't know how to spot them, you will not spot them. And once I spot them, they know I spot them. And they disappear. Not too long ago, I was watching out with my son in the night, and I told him, I said, I put him right in front of me. I said, he's 16 years old. He's the son of the old age. I said, "Look, son, there's a UFO." He looked and said, "Is that a UFO?" I said, "That's a UFO, son." I said, "Keep looking, keep watching it." And sure enough, I said, just wait on it." Sure enough, as we waited there for a minute or two, all of a sudden, it disappeared. Right before our eyes. I said, there you go. That's a UFO. These things are going to abound in the end of times. We're going to begin to see more and more of these UFOs in the heavens. They are already here, but they're mostly invisible to the naked eye, the majority of the people. So as we continue, we're going to see more and more. I encourage you to look up more. You're going to begin to see things in the heavens that you've never seen before. It's already begun. How many of you have seen strange looking sights in the moon? Moon don't look like it's supposed to. Have you seen it? How it's the first quarter moon, instead of coming from the right to the left, is coming from the lower right to the upper left, or lower left to the upper right. Weird stuff, and it changes, it shifts. And they want to make us believe that it's normal. Smile, Jesus loves you. But it's not.
I'm going to interrupt the broadcast right there. 30 years ago, God began to give me prophecies saying that one day He was going to use me to win thousands upon thousands of souls to His kingdom. Including an audible voice, a vision, a dream, and 6 prophetic words, I believe that I've been directed to organize a meeting to release 7-fold miracles. We're asking those who believe in the warning given to Dimitri that America is the Mystery Babylon, willing to sow a key of David's seed, willing to commit to a 3-day consecutive fast, and believe we are in the last days to come to this crusade. During this crusade, we're asking people to walk the steps of Moses by observing Passover, unleavened bread, and first fruits, which is April 19 through 22. We believe that once we have fasted, sown the key of David, opened the doors, and followed the steps of Moses, God is going to release the 7-fold miracles like no person or angel in history has ever seen. If you want to attend, register at 7foldmiraclecrusades.com. There are only 500 seats available. We expect to have several thousand wanting to come. That's 7foldmiraclecrusades.com. Register while there are still seats available. 7foldmiraclecrusades.com. I just posted a 16-page newsletter, our largest and most important newsletter in 25 years. It gives you in writing all the prophecies, dreams, visions, and audible voices I've received over the last 30 years telling me to organize this 7-fold miracle crusade. It'll put you in tears. Frankly, it'll put you in tears. You can download it for free at prophecyclub.com. prophecyclub.com. In 2017, I memorized the book of Revelation just as a simple project. Surprisingly, I began to receive information on 30 revelations and 2 visions beyond what is found in the Bible. God showed me a secret door, which is based upon a single word found in Revelation and Leviticus, linking the feasts to the prophecies. When linked, a person enters into an understanding of Bible prophecy not previously known. Even though I've been in the world of Bible prophecy for 40 years, frankly, I did not know anything of what is in this book. One prophetic word described it this way: there is a lock that I have put over a word in the book of Revelation that I'm going to open to you. It will turn so many books written on the end-time message into obsolete books. That's this book. Topics are: Jesus returns on what feast? The secret of the feasts. Who are the 2 witnesses? What is the morning star? The judgment seat explained. The great white throne explained. The nations explained. What is the shout? And the parables explained. Seals, trumpets, and vials go in what order? 2 amazing prophecy charts on the back flap, 12 inches by 9 inches. Imagine a book on prophecy that brings a fresh, new, accurate perspective. I don't want you to get 1 book for $20. I want you to get 5 books for $30 or 10 for $55. It's called The Secret Door to Understand Bible Prophecy, available at prophecyclub.com. The Secret Door to Understand Bible Prophecy. 1 for $20. No, don't do that. You want to get 5 for $30 or the best deal, 10 for $55. prophecyclub.com.